Radio check. We should be live. Yeah. Okay. Very nice, very nice. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll be 28 minutes till the start of qualifying. And yeah, I'm not long now, so hope you're all doing alright. Just had a few little things to sort out before the start of quali. So yeah, just 2 minutes late or so. Yeah, we had the pretty good FP3 session. George Russell looking really good compared to Kimi and Antonelli, and the McLarens and the Ferraris not too far away from George Russell. So it looks like we're going to have a close fight for pole position. The Astons aren't looking great. Neither of the Cadillacs. Looks like it's going to be a standard. It get eliminated in Q1 for those guys. And William and Haas are going to be on the brink there, potentially making it through into Q2. It's potentially not. So that's going to be one to watch for the Q1 session. And it'll be Audi and Racing Bulls that I think will be competing for the Q3, the final few Q3 spots, given that the top 4 teams make it in. So yeah, that's been our sort of pace overview really of what it's looking like in Spain this weekend. It's pretty tight up at the top. I think the Red Bulls are the slowest out of the top 4 teams, but well, only time will tell what Max can do, because, you look at that previous lap and Max was about 2.5 tenths quicker than Isaac Hadjar, which typically, the gap's a little bit bigger, so maybe Hadjar's doing really well here, or maybe Max Verstappen has got a few more tenths to extract out of the car. Yeah. Got your Red Bull ready for this? Okay, fair enough. Anthony's going to struggle, maybe. I mean, look, like your luck and your form doesn't continue infinitely, right? So what goes up must come down, and Anthony's had 5 races in a row that he's won. So there's a very good chance that things at some point are going to come to an end, and this race might be it. It might be a race in 2-3 more laps time, 2-3 more races time, right? We'll see how he delivers. Okay, can we talk a little bit more about the track? Yeah, I mean, the Barcelona track, right? It is very high speed, very flowing, and the slowest corners that we've got on the circuit, turn number 5 is the slowest corner on the track, and then the second slowest is turn 10. So those are the 2 slowest corners, which are still, the drivers are taking in 3rd gear most of the time. So it's pretty good in that regard. For the drivers, it feels very fun to drive in the high speed things, but it is especially rough on the tires. The other thing is Pirelli typically, right, we used to bring the C1, the C2 and the C3 as the tires to Barcelona, and as of last year we switched over and brought the C2, the C3, the C4, so that went one step softer. And yeah, that means that we will probably get a 2-stop tomorrow because the tyre wear is looking exceedingly high, and I guess we'll sort of just see really how that works out, but because of the high tyre wear, a lot of drivers will be struggling, especially on the front left tyre. The front left tyre is the big one, and yeah, because turn number 1, turn number 3, turn 4, turn 9, turn 12, 13, 14, they're all right hand corners, and your front left tire is the one that feels the most of the pain from that. So yeah, that's essentially your issue. All right, Ferrari will surprise today, new upgrades. Yeah, Ferrari have got their upgrades. They've got 8 new upgrades to their car, so we'll see if that plays out. They'll be hoping to gain 2 tenths, 3 tenths, or something along those lines to close up the gap towards the front. But of course, they do still have the engine issue. Not the issue, but the lack of horsepower, the lack of consistent power as the Mercedes team have. So still some more work to be done on the engine side of things, but that can, I'm sure quite a lot of it could be fixed by a software update. Okay. Fully live on any VPN channel? Well, it's not live right now, but it will be live soon enough. It'll be live on SRF on the Swiss VPN, and it'll be live on ORF for the Austrian VPN. Yeah. Yeah, there's no further investigation for Antonelli. I think he's all good. And it won't have been a grid penalty anyway, because typically anything happens in FP3 unless you're intentionally crashing into a driver, it's at most a fine. There's never going to be any sort of grid penalties handed out for that sort of thing. What is Aston Martin's problem in F1? Adrian Newey is supposed to be the Ross Brawn. Ross Brawn was to Brawn in 2009, immediate title contender. Yeah, I mean, I think he was, but maybe. I mean, I've talked about this in the past, but you can't just bring in, a superstar person and expect them to turn the whole ship around, right? Aston Martin was a ship that was sort of sailing in the wrong direction, right? 2023 was really good for them, and then it got worse in 24, got worse in 25, and they brought in Adrian Newey, they brought in a load of money, new factories, new buildings, all of this stuff, and new facilities, but just changing the leader isn't going to work once you've got, a 200, 300, 500 people team. There's got to be sort of all-round changes in all aspects. I also think that they probably put a bit too much focus on Adrian Newey, making him team principal, which was, frankly, just a little bit too much, because his expertise is in designing the best Formula 1 car, designing the best aerodynamics and chassis for a Formula 1 car, and not leading a team, right? It's two totally different job tasks. You're not going to ask Albert Einstein to run the 100-meter sprint, and you're not going to ask Usain Bolt to solve quantum mechanics. So Adrian Newey should have just stuck to the car design, and they should have got someone else in with a lot more experience leading a team, maybe somewhere from the World Endurance Championship, maybe from somewhere else, to manage the race team, and then kept Adrian Newey as the designer. So yeah, I think that's the overall sort of issues that you've got down at Aston Martin. Red Bull will bring a big upgrade package to Austria, will they? Oh well, it's their home Grand Prix, so yeah, why not? What's my prediction? I predict that we're going to have a very close fight for pole position. Yeah, top 3 drivers within a tenth and a half of each other. That's my prediction. Yeah, what do you think happened to Lewis? I just wouldn't worry about it, guys. I mean, I know that we've got a lot of Lewis fans in the chat, and you're all very, very concerned when he's half a second down on Charles Leclerc, and yeah, all I'm going to tell you, it was free practice. Ferrari brought a lot of upgrades. That means they're going to do a lot of different test plans, and that means different fuel loads, different run settings, and things like that. So just wait till qualifying, and then you can look at the data and the telemetry and see what is what. Looking at what happened yesterday, Hamilton was having significantly lower minimum speed through a lot of the corners. That's much more of a sign of just having extra fuel in the car, because the slower you go, the less aerodynamic grip you've got. So you rely much more on your tyres, and the heavier your car are, the worse performance you get out of your tyres, and hence you got to take the corners slower. So I suspect it's fuel loads. And the same thing for Kimi as well. Like, yes, he's back on George Russell by 0.8 of a second, but if you look at the FP3 runs, he got blocked a few times. He didn't have clean laps overall. So if he had put in his theoretical best time and everyone else had put in their theoretical best time, Anthony would find himself up in 4th position, right? He'd be quicker than quite a lot of the field, so, or 4th or 5th position. So not much to worry about. All right. McLaren didn't get any upgrades, no, but they do, of course. McLaren still had, pace to unlock from the power unit, and I suspect that's what they've done to make their leapfrog forward. Very, very minor things have been changed on the McLaren. You tell me what strategies the teams are going to use because of the high tire degradation? Well, it's most likely going to be a two-stop. I suspect it will be probably medium, medium hard, or medium hard, medium, or something along those lines. The soft tyres don't look to be all that durable. They particularly suffered just over the course of one lap if you push too hard on them. So potentially you could use the softs if there's a late safety car or something like that. But most likely it seems to be the medium, medium hard, or medium hard, hard will be the strategy for tomorrow. How to watch using Proton VPN. It's on ORF, folks. ORF or SRF. That's how you can watch the broadcast for qualifying. Oh, Kimi, the black and white flag that Kimi got for driving erratically in turn number 2, the reason for that was Stroll got in his way as traffic, and then he didn't brake check him per se, but he did slow down in front of him. I suspect unintentionally, because there was also more cars coming through behind. So yeah, it was just a bit of bad timing and bad luck, I think, there, and nothing intentional. So yeah, he just wasn't investigated for that one, but I'm sure it's not too much of a concern. Yeah, we'll have a Q1 starting shortly. 18 minutes, 15 minutes, and 12 minutes for Q1, 2, and 3 respectively. It's pretty standard stuff. And yeah, just to confirm, no penalty for Kimi Antonelli, so he's good to go. Us Fernando Alonso fans being sad for finishing P2 in Monaco 2023, and now we feel like we've achieved a World Drivers' Championship. Yeah, I mean, that P2 in Monaco was something special for Fernando, and it would have been pole position and a win if it wasn't for Max Verstappen, of course. Yeah. But what was I going to say? Oh yeah, I do have an interesting fact for you. Fernando Alonso has, it's estimated, it's not been totally, an exact number, but it is estimated that Fernando Alonso has driven 1.2 million miles as a racing driver. So, this includes Formula One, this includes Le Mans and things like that, and test sessions and preseason testing and all of that. But 1.2 million miles completed as a racing driver. Just to put that into context, that would put him going to the moon and back twice in terms of distance. So pretty incredible to say the least from Fernando Alonso. That's how long his racing career has been, and that's how much racing he has done. I'm sure Lewis Hamilton has had an equally long racing career, but I think if you look at Lewis Hamilton's stats, they're going to be a little bit shorter than that. Mainly because Alonso's taken part in quite a lot of other categories apart from Formula One. Going to the moon and back is easier than driving the Aston Martin. Yeah. Well, at least when you're going to the moon, you don't have a vibrating steering wheel that tries to numb all of your hands, numb all of the nerves in your hand. I've driven 600,000 miles and drive 600,000 more. Yeah. All right. Yeah, no, that's definitely a good song there. Well, the song that it's based off. Okay. Lewis was racing when they started doing more sim and test days. Yeah, that's also very true as well. The test days that we've had in Formula One have significantly started decreasing. You would the rookie drivers that were even had their first time in Formula One, they will have done significantly less test days they would have done significantly more laps than you see all of the Formula 2 drivers coming through right now, because they would just get in maybe the previous year's car and just lap around the test track hundreds of times just to get a feel for Formula 1 before they actually entered into their first Grand Prix, because, they had the budget to do that and there was no restrictions. Well, you are, chat was still on. Love your commentary, which has a map, order of running, and informative. Yeah. Cheers, buddy. Cheers. Glad that you guys enjoyed the coverage. Someone's just typed in the chat, 1 miles equals 1.6 miles. yeah, I think you mean kilometers. Yeah, okay. Do you think Red Bull can go with Ferrari this weekend? Well, look, they don't look as strong as of right now, but we do know that Ferrari typically push a little harder in practice and Red Bull a little bit less so. So, there's definitely a chance where you'll see Red Bull close up that gap and potentially Max Verstappen get ahead of at least one of the Ferrari cars. Who do I think is going to be pole position? Look, the safe bet is probably George Russell, given that he looks a bit stronger than Antonelli at this circuit. So, yeah, that's the boring one, but why not? Why not go for something exciting, something new? Let's go Oscar Piastri for pole position. Why not? Looked pretty good in FP3, so maybe a special lap from Piastri, and we'll be able to put it together. I don't really know what's up with Piastri really as of recently. I'm sure losing the 2025 championship while his teammate won, of course, will have been a big sort of blow to him, and that's definitely a tough situation, but I think he'll definitely learn from it, and he'll come back stronger. All right. F1 Gamer of the back runners, who's going to make it through into Q2? I reckon Carlos Sainz is definitely making it through at his home Grand Prix. I'm also hoping that Fernando Alonso makes it through, just for their sake, right? It's their home Grand Prix, surely something can be pulled out the bag. But yeah, it's going to be close between the Williams and the Hasses to see who makes it through. Lindblad has been consistent in qualifying, and this is one of the circuits that he's got race wins at. Oh, okay, is this in his junior career? Yeah, that would be pretty good. Obviously, Lindblad's actually been competing quite well with Liam Lawson in terms of quality. In terms of points, I think Lawson's got the edge over him. But in qualifying, Lindblad in his first season of Formula 1 is doing a pretty good job. Hey. So, 10 minutes left to go. F1 Gamer, can you explain why drivers go wide at turn number 9? Yes, sure, I can. Right, let's get the onboard lap and skip forward to turn number 9. So, here you are, making your way towards turn number 9. And the reason that you've got an issue through this corner, right, is firstly you're accelerating up this hill. You can sort of tell that you're on a bit of an incline here, right? So you're going up this hill, and because you're going up the hill, firstly, you've got weight sent to the rear of your car because, you're sort of tilted upwards. And then the next thing is because you're accelerating again, you've got more weight shifted towards the rear. So your front wheels are relatively light, and turn number 9 is sort of as you go over this crest, and the car starts to go a little bit light as you go over the crest, which is not what you want in terms of any sort of grip, but especially front grip. So what the drivers have to do, because the cars don't have as much downforce as they used to have, they will probably initiate just a little bit of a lift here, and what that will do, it will transfer the load from the back in towards the front, load up the front tires a little bit, and then they'll turn in and just, hold it around there. Then on the exit, the curbs are also a little bit violent, so if you have the rear sliding a little bit as you're on the tarmac and then you go off onto the curb, then that could cause a snap. So that's a bit of a problem. And that's really the reason why turn number 9 is pretty difficult. It's extremely high speed, and the time from when you lift off, transfer the load forwards, and then turn into the corner has to be perfectly synced up with where you are at the racetrack at that time. So your margin of error is really small for that corner because the speeds are so high. And that's why it's a tricky corner. We're seeing drivers lift off about 40 to 50% on the throttle going through turn number 9 right now. It used to be flat, but now I think it's a lot better this way, where the drivers are lifting off a little bit. So yeah, that's turn number 9 for you. F1 Game, what's your opinion on Spa being rotated on the calendar? Spa being rotated on the calendar, well, I would love to see it every single year, really. They're just switching it out because for Formula 1 to go racing at Spa, they only play Formula 1, I think it's $35 million or something along those lines, whereas if you go to Azerbaijan, they'll pay $120 million to have Formula 1 race in Azerbaijan. So they just get less money from it, and it's totally unsurprising that they're just going to go to the races that pay them more, which is unfortunate, but it is, yeah. So 6 minutes now, not too far away till qualifying takes place. We should actually have the data coming through. Yeah, we do. Brilliant. All right, fantastic. How much does Silverstone pay? I'm not sure how much Silverstone pays, but it's, again, all of these historic tracks pay less than the tracks in the Middle East or Miami or Las Vegas, because at the end of the day, it's a purpose-built racing track. You don't have a huge amount of local government support and things like that. Part of the reason why we don't have races in Malaysia and races in India, because you haven't got huge government backing, you haven't got things like that. Whereas a race in Las Vegas, a race in Madrid, you've got the local governments helping out with the funding situation and things like that. So. And that's why the street circuits tend to be are becoming the new thing, right? You got Jeddah as a street circuit. You've got Las Vegas right in the heart of Las Vegas. So, yeah. All right, looks like that's a Cadillac appearing on the GPS, so it shouldn't be too long now. Looks like they're all getting ready. Brilliant. F1 Gamer, how much do you think drive for skills matters in the regulations? I mean, they definitely do matter, right? You put me in the car and I'm absolutely nowhere. I'm sure you put a Formula 2 driver in the car and they will also be absolutely nowhere. So, no, driver skill definitely has an impact. Yeah, it's just different set of skills, right? It's not... it might not be all-out racing every single lap. It might not be all-out attack every single lap. There's a different set of skills, but... it's you do have to sort of understand that part of racing is managing your tires. Part of racing is managing the gaps to the drivers ahead of you so you don't overheat your engine and things like that. And it's a similar thing, but you've just got additional element of management here with the batteries. Okay. Jackie Stewart in 1973 said that tracks like Monaco you should brake smoothly and apply acceleration very smoothly instead of braking hard and be very gentle with the car. What are your thoughts? Well, that was obviously very true for the cars of his generation in 1973. You had obviously very different suspension setups, very different downforce levels, and to a point, it is still a way that the car should be driven right now. Like, you still want to be smooth with your steering inputs. You still don't want to just be stabbing away at the steering wheel and at the pedals and things like that. But it's just on a different level, really, because the cars have just got so much faster. So yeah, you still see, smooth is, what is it? Slow is smooth and smooth is fast, or something. I think that's what, or maybe I'm remembering it slightly wrong, but it still holds true to this day. Drop Dead Hero 83, believe it or not, it was cheaper for me to go to Spa last year's to see Spa last year's race rather than go to Silverstone. And I'm from the UK, absolute madness. Yeah, no, it is true. It is cheaper to get a cheap flight to Spa than sit on the side of the Camel Straight and watch the practice sessions and the races from there, stay in a hotel and then fly back to the UK than it is to just go to Silverstone. So, yeah, that's just how it goes, really. All right, 1 minute and 45 seconds. It looks like, yeah, you see there Bottas's radio messages just coming through. I've done the Spa thing. It's actually cheaper. Yeah, I mean, this is what I'm saying. Like, I'm sure a lot of people have done the math, and it's cheaper to go to Spa than it is to go to the race in your own country. No, I know someone in the Netherlands that did a road trip across Europe and just went straight to Hungary and watched the race in Hungary because it was cheaper than going to the race in Zandvoort. So fill up your car, pop down the autobahn, make your way to Germany, make your way to Hungary, sorry, and then and watch the race there, and then drive back. Okie dokes. Why have I got rid of the countdown timer? I was meant to get rid of the YouTube chat. All right, 49 seconds, and we'll have the green light. Track temperature is up at 51 degrees Celsius, so that's gonna, make the pace a little bit slower. The drivers can't go all out attack. They'll probably have to back off, 1 or 2 corners to ensure that they don't overheat by the end of the lap. Low is smooth and smooth is fast is the advice firearm instructors give to combat trainees. Oh, okay. Interesting. Well, I guess it's also true for Formula 1. I've got a hack this year. I'm a chef working at Silverstone this year at Ignition Hospitality Tent. I get to see half the race on Sunday. Oh, wow. Pretty nice, man. Congrats. All right, green light pit lane exit is open. Let's get rid of this countdown timer. And we have got Valtteri Bottas exiting the pit lane. Here we go, folks. We are underway for some qualifying. Brilliant. Bottas, then Ocon, then Behrman, then Sainz, all making their way out now, and we're getting some more drivers coming out onto the track behind them as well. Great to see. I got 7,000 people tuned into live stream. Much appreciated, folks. Hope you're all enjoying the coverage. I'll be commentating for the race tomorrow as well, so if you do enjoy the coverage, I hope to see you there as well. And let's get underway for some quali. And there's Stroll, there's Alonso, and soft tyres as expected. Wind still blowing from the easterly direction. It's been fairly consistent here, so shouldn't be catching out any of the drivers. And here we go. We've got Alonso waving to the fans as he comes out of the pit lane, so just waving to the fans, getting his tyres ready. Summer break is in August. That is correct, folks. That is correct. Who set last year's pole time? I can't remember actually. Was it not? It was either Norris or Piastri. One of the two McLaren drivers. Yeah. F1 Gamer, buy the streaming rights for F1. You're already too goated. The F1 streaming rights are unfortunately millions and millions of dollars. So as much as I would love to, haven't got the facilities to do that right now. Either way, here we are then. So let's go on board with Valtteri Bottas. We've got him going around the circuit here in towards turn number 4. Nice and late on the brakes there. First driver to come across the first sector line, 23.054. We'll be looking at those first sector times dipping down into the 22s as we get the faster drivers on the circuit. So yeah, there you can see Ocon 22.7. Okay, it was Piastri that took pole here last year. Okay, cool. Should have organised the summer break so the drivers could watch the World Cup. Yeah, there's going to be a race the same day as the World Cup final, actually. Wait, let me just double check. The Belgian Grand Prix is going to be the same day as the World Cup final. All right, Ocon looking good in the middle sector here. Stays well within track limits. It's a bit tricky here. You've got a few track limits that you might exceed. Turn number 9 is noticeably one of them, but you do lose quite a bit of time as well exceeding these track limits because there is gravel there on the exit. So your margin of error is very, very tight. And if you exceed track limits, you basically also just lose time. So a lot of we won't see that many track limit deletions today. And Ocon's out on mediums, and so is Behrman. Looks like these... I mean, maybe they're trying something. They're trying to use the mediums to see if they work better in these really hot conditions. It might be the way forward, but it's a bit hard to tell, to be honest. Because the soft tyres are definitely overheating right now. Carlos Sainz, though, top of the times, a 118.1, and yeah, P1 in Spain for Carlos Sainz. Here comes Fernando Alonso. What can he do? And it is 6th position, unfortunately, for him. He is, 7/10 ahead of Lance Stroll, but a long way to go for him to get towards where Carlos Sainz's pace is. F1 Gamer, any ambition to join commentary for a broadcast company or remain on the YouTube? I mean, YouTube is pretty good. I've got the flexibility to do whatever, say whatever. But I wouldn't be opposed to it, really. It'd be nice to try it out, given that I have a reasonable amount of experience. Okay. Still a lot of drivers actually to come out onto the garage just yet. We've got the looks like the Mercedes mechanics are taking off the wheel with the warm, what are they called, tire warmers on the cars here before they send the Mercedes cars out onto the track. There you can see they're now just driving down by the pit lane. This is the other thing here. You're seeing the drivers drive super slow coming out the pit lane because they want to cool their tyres down. They want them to get colder because they will all start the lap under temperature. So turns number 1, 2, and probably 3 will be with the tyres under temperature, and then the remaining sort of next few set corners will be tyres at temperature. The final corner will be tyres probably overheating. So that's probably what they're doing right now because... yeah, the first 3 corners are actually very intensive on the tyres themselves, and that'll be enough to bring them up to temperature range. So they're all crawling out the pit lane at very slow speeds, which is big contrast to Monaco. Monaco, they would get out the pit lane as soon as possible and foot flat to the floor and warm up those tyres as quickly as they possibly could. Same thing with with the Canadian Grand Prix as well. The drivers would go flat out from the start, but flip side here in Spain because, of the temperature conditions. There we go then. We've got a few more cars leaving the pits. And that looks to be everyone apart from the McLarens have left the garage. So just the McLaren drivers still, and as I say that, Norris leaves and Piastri's also making his way out. So everyone has now hit the racetrack and has at least on an outlap or is in the process of a flying lap. Here we go, Max Verstappen round turn number 3, Bortoleto gets out of the way. Max Verstappen braking just under that Aramco board. 7/10 up in the first sector, very nicely done as he goes all the way out onto turn number 4, downhill braking for turn 5, slowest corner on the circuit actually, misses the apex ever so slightly but doesn't really matter as long as your exit is good enough. And now he makes his way through turn number 7 with the car again avoiding the curbs a little bit. But well, it goes over the curbs at turn 8, not so much at turn 7. Turn number 9, just a little lift, and then he makes his way now down towards turn 10, deep on the brakes there, 1.5 seconds up on Carlos Sainz. That is to be expected there from Max Verstappen. A little bit of the rear sliding out as Lindblad is up ahead of him in the form of traffic. And now if Hamilton slows down ever so slightly, Verstappen might be getting a tow as he exits the final corner. It doesn't look like it. Hamilton is a bit too far up ahead. And here comes Verstappen. It is a 1:16.352. Very nicely done. Charles Leclerc is purple in the middle sector, and Hülkenberg is in fact purple in the final sector. He's definitely done that with a toe, but nevertheless a great final sector from Hülkenberg, and great to get that toe set up right. That might be the thing that gets him through into Q2. Gasly, Colapinto, 3rd and 4th for them, and they're about a tenth, 2 tenths back from Hülkenberg, and there you go. That perfect final sector from Hülkenberg is what's made the difference, and I've got him ahead of both the Alpines. Charles Leclerc crosses the line 4 tenths clear of Max Verstappen, so it does look like those upgrades are working quite nicely, but how much longer will they last with Kimi Antonelli purple in the middle sector, which quickly gets taken away by George Russell, which might get taken away by Hamilton actually. Oh no, Hamilton just a few milliseconds back from Charles Leclerc, but Antonelli 13 milliseconds off Charles Leclerc, very, very close here up at the front of the field. George Russell goes quicker than Leclerc by a quarter of a second. George Russell looking in great form today, and Lewis Hamilton, who has been struggling a little bit in the free practice sessions, which I suspect was just down to run plans, here he is coming across the line, and he goes P1, 1/10 up on George Russell. It's a Ferrari 1-3, Mercedes 2-4 with Red Bull in 5 and 6, well, momentarily, until Arvid Lindblad inserts himself between the two Red Bull drivers, and I think he forgot that he's a Racing Bulls driver and he's just decided to drive the Red Bull car instead. Let's see what Liam Lawson can do. Here he comes, coming out of turn number 14. What can the Kiwi do? It is 9th position for him. Lindblad up 2 tenths faster than Liam Lawson. Yeah, really good job there by Lewis Hamilton. 1/10 up on George Russell. I mean, at the end of the day, it's Q1. I'll get a little bit more hyped as the session progresses. And we got the McLarens as well now coming across the line. So here comes Lando Norris. It is P5 actually. Okay, so ahead of the Red Bulls and Oscar Piastri. What's it going to be for Piastri? Of course, pole position holder here from last year. And it's P5 for him. He goes ahead of his teammate purple in the final sector as well. Pretty nice. And that's without a tow. No one ahead of him to give Oscar Piastri a tow. Still goes purple in the final sector. Pretty nice. Ferrari was definitely sandbagging. Well, maybe. I mean, it's time to break out the Ferrari meme. Where's it gone? Oh no, wrong one. This. Here we go. Ooh. Anyway, we're so back. Let's see how long it lasts. Okay, so currently in the drop zone, we have got Sergio Perez, Esteban Ocon, Valtteri Bottas, Alex Albon, Fernando Alonso, Lance Stroll. The Aston Martins, 3.6 seconds and 4.3 seconds slower than the Ferrari of Lewis Hamilton, respectively, for Alonso and Stroll. That is outrageous. Just, yeah, frankly, outrageous. We've got one of the Williams exceeding track limits there. That's Alex Albon, who got a 1 minute 20 lap time deleted. I mean, yeah, he backed off that lap anyway. It was too far wide. We also had a brief yellow flag there for Stroll going wide over turn number 10 and 11. Yeah. Now that you've showed the meme, it's time for them to go. It's so over in Q3. Yeah, I mean, this is the. I think we all acknowledge that Ferrari's pace is not always the most truthful every single occasion, but it's nice to hope. And look, I really do hope that we have Ferrari win a race this season, because I just don't want to see just Mercedes domination. It's always nice to have more race winners. We looked to 2024. We had, I think it was 7 race winners in 2024, right? So, and that was a great season. So would love to have some more of that. Hamilton's post-race FP2 post-interview acting skills is crazy. Yeah, I mean, these guys are, should give them some Oscars for their acting, especially George Russell at the end of preseason testing, been like, oh no, we're not the fastest car. It's Red Bull that are the fastest. Yeah. All right, everyone in the pit lane, actually. 5 minutes remain. So everyone having a quick look at the numbers, the data, seeing where they can improve, and they'll be ready to go again. Strategic masterclass by Ferrari, sandbagging practice to aura farming quali. Well, I hope so. 2024 winners were Verstappen, Sainz, Norris, Leclerc, Russell, Hamilton, and Piastri. Exactly. All of those drivers won races in 2024, and you can't say that's a bad look. All right, we got the Williams out into the pit lane of Alex Albon and Carlos Sainz. So we got the Alpines out first. Oh, big traffic jam. Let's go. Traffic jam approaching the pit lane here. Cadillac's wanting to get out, but been blocked by Fernando Alonso and one of the other cars as well. Got a lot of green though. A lot of green in Barcelona today. All right, the bottom 10 drivers have made their way out onto the circuit. Bottom 11 have made their way out. The top 11 are yet to leave the pits. Does anyone have upgrades? It's only Ferrari with upgrades, so it's only Ferrari that have brought the upgrade packages. Everyone else has got such minor little tweaks, you might as well just not count them. Okay. 14,000 people tuned in. Thanks everyone for tuning in. This first little bit of action has been concluded in Q1, and now we're getting our final stages of Q1. We'll see who gets eliminated and who does not. Is the final corner flat? The final corner, I'll just get back to you on that one. It seems like there's a little lift involved. Yeah, as far as I could tell. Pierre Gasly's on his flying lap there. Look at that little purple mini sector. That third mini sector for Pierre Gasly, purple. So he's super late on the brakes through in towards turn number 1, which looks like it might have compromised his overall first sector time, but we'll see how that plays out. He might be able to gain all of that time back in sector number 2 and 3. Alex Albon also looking pretty good there on the exit of turn number 3, managing to get another purple mini sector. Same thing for Ocon, actually. Pretty good in towards turn number 1. The gap there between Ocon and Hulkenberg is also quite close. Normally there's a bit more spacing out, but they've decided to go very, very close to each other. Fernando Alonso, can he make it through into Q2? I would love for him to do so at his home Grand Prix. Maybe his chances are slightly better in Madrid, with Aston Martin improving the car by then, hopefully. But yeah, first sector isn't looking so great. Track temperature still up at 51 degrees Celsius, so that is that's a little bit difficult to manage there. And Franco Colapinto, yes, it's just a little lift for the drivers as they make their way through the final corner. 10th position for Colapinto, 11th for Pierre Gasly. Nicely done by those two. We've got Alex Albon making his way now out of the final corner. 15th position for Alex Albon. Nicely done by him. Okay, Lance Stroll currently in last position. He is currently 4.3 seconds off the pace. He crosses the line, 3.1 seconds off the pace. So it's it's an improvement, but how much longer? Yeah, he's still eliminated. Nico Hulkenberg, P5, incredible lap there. And also, this is on outright pace. It's not like the top runners were on old tyres and Nico Hulkenberg's on fresh tyres. This is outright pace from Nico Hulkenberg in 5th position. Simply sensational, really. I've got to say, mega jog from him. And Fernando Alonso, 22nd position. Wait, that is it, folks. Fernando Alonso, at his home Grand Prix, has an out-qualifying streak of Lance Stroll of 41 races. He's out-qualified Stroll 41 times, and that ended today. Today, Stroll has out-qualified Alonso for the first time in 41 races. I mean, yeah, Alonso's first sector wasn't great, to be honest, and that's what lost him it, but damn. Also, Audi, I mean, who knows what happens with these guys, but it looks like they're definitely making it through into Q3, and Nico Hulkenberg might have something special for us in store. Yeah, no, I mean, I am very surprised. I mean, at some point it was bound to happen, right? Like, a flawless streak is it's incredibly difficult to keep up, and this is the first time in pretty much 2 years that Stroll has outqualified Alonso. It's I'm sure Alonso is in Spain without the S, but. Just to summarise, folks, the drivers that have been eliminated, we have got Ocon eliminated, Albon eliminated, Perez, Bottas, Stroll, Alonso, Carlos Sainz. The other Spanish driver has made it through into Q2, which I'm sure he's very, very pleased about. Alright, so that's the end of Q1. I'll pop a timer up on the screen for Q2. Shouldn't be too long though, till we get underway for that. Right, yeah, should be 4 minutes or 5 minutes till we get underway for Q2. Got a few yellow flags on the track there. I think that's probably just a bit of debris which the marshals will be going on to clean up. Probably some gravel or something like that. Aston Martin is 1 second away from the Cadillac. That is a disturbing fact. But it is true. Aston Martin 3 seconds slower than Hamilton, and the Cadillacs are 2 seconds slower than Hamilton. A full second. Cadillac did not have a Formula 1 car before, 12 months ago. They had never entered a Formula 1 race. A lot of their engineers had never worked in Formula 1 before. They had come from other motorsports, and they started from scratch. And I mean, yeah, Cadillac did this with a box of scraps, basically, and Aston Martin, with all of the facilities and all of the money in the world, what has gone so horribly wrong for them? I have no idea. But Q2 awaits us. We'll have another look at what the pace is looking like between the Ferraris and the Mercedes, but it's looking promising. It's looking promising. It also looks promising for the Audi team. What I'm also going to do now is take you through a flying lap of the circuit. So let me just move this over here. Alright, flying lap taking place. So you're heading your way down the start-finish straight in towards turn 1. You're reaching speeds of 330 km per hour. If you can get a toe, maybe 340 km per hour. Onto the brakes you go at 70 meter mark. And through the first two corners, very long sweeping corners, drift all the way out to the left-hand side here because there's no point actually sticking to the inside line. It overheats your tyres way too much. Brake underneath the bridge and then again drift out as wide as possible as early as you can because, well, you can carry more speed through the corners. Downhill braking here, shift your brake balance forwards to make sure your rear tyres don't lock and then smoothly onto the power. You make your way now towards turn number 7. Avoid the curb of 7 a little bit, but drive straight over it for turn number 8. Gains you so much lap time. A little lift for turn number 9, and then hope that you don't get a little twitch like I just did there on that flying lap. And then onto the brakes for turn number 10. The camber of the circuit really does help you out, and it's not too much of a difficult corner to worry about there. Then turn 12, it's endless. It just goes on and on and on, and then you finally get on the power. You got turn 11 there, flat out pretty much, and final, just a little lift and maybe a downshift as you come through turn number 14, and that's a lap of Barcelona, folks. It's a fantastic circuit, extremely high speed. The drivers love it. The tyres, however, do not. Okay. The oldest drivers at the opposite ends of the field, yeah. Isn't there a program for the other teams to catch up? Yes, they will. Honda will get ability to upgrade their engine and things like that, and same thing for all of the Audi engine. Same thing for the Ferrari engine. Yeah, supposedly Red Bull is the most powerful engine on the grid, and now that is the most powerful internal combustion engine. It's not the whole power unit as a whole, but yeah, just shows you how important that electric side of things are. Why not appreciate Cadillac for being 1 second faster? Yeah, that is also true, actually. Cadillac did start out slower than the Aston Martins, and now they're quicker. So the progress that you've seen from Cadillac has been really good progress. They've got a lot of people, of course, working around the clock to get these things sorted. And as I was saying, building a Formula One team isn't just about assembling, the greatest engineers and the greatest minds of motorsport. You've got to have a team that works properly. You've got to have systems and processes to make sure that you don't repeat mistakes and things like that. And Cadillac have made quite a few mistakes, right? You've had front wings fall off, body parts fall off during preseason testing and things like that. And things have slowly got better. And, well, their cars are getting faster and faster. It looks like Q3 is starting in... I think it's like 40 seconds or so. So, yeah, just bear with me. Will it be a 2-stop or a 3-stop? Most likely going to be a 2-stop, unless it's a late safety car, in which case it will become a 3-stop. A lot of parts of Cadillac have come from Ferrari, by the way. Oh, yes, of course that is true. So, a slightly different challenge when you've got, of course, Honda making your engine. So you've got to integrate that, whereas Ferrari, of course, are giving the engine to Cadillac. So... what did I say? Q2, yeah, Q2 starting, sorry. Did I say Q3 by accident? Apologies. Q2 is getting underway. In fact, there you go. The time has hit 0. Green light are at the end of the pit lane, but nobody has yet to depart. Two-stop race, forgot what those were. Yeah, I mean, look, we've got softer tyres this year at Barcelona. Typically, it would have been the C1, C2, C3, but we've now got the C2, C3, C4. So 1 step softer, so more tyre wear equals more pit stops. Okie dokes. Yeah, everyone just waiting around. There's no need really to go out right now. If you're gonna do 2 runs, you can get 2 runs sorted within the space of about 12 minutes. So that's why the teams are just waiting around, doing nothing at all. Can Alonso get a point again? I mean, look, it'd be great to see Alonso score some points at his home Grand Prix. Same thing for Sainz, but yeah, given that he's starting last, it's going to be tough. Looks like Audi are going to send their drivers out first. We've got Hulkenberg just on his way out onto the circuit. Okie doke. So look at those top speeds there. You can see approximately nearly all of the drivers are 330 plus. The minimum that we see is Charles Leclerc. They're 329, so maybe running a bit more downforce. The Aston's obviously down on speed. The Williams also. So Williams a bit more draggy, bit more downforce on their cars. Aston Martin just down on horsepower outright, and the rest of the drivers between 340 and 330. So very, very close in terms of the top speeds. The top speeds are just getting measured there down the start-finish straight. You'll be able to see at the end of the pit lane. That's where the speed camera is, and they'll be measuring what the speed is looking like. Okay. So there you go. We've got 7 cars coming out of the pit lane right now. Did you know the FIA president is at the 24 Hours of Le Mans and not QUALI? I mean, fair enough. I would, if I had the opportunity to be at both, I'd probably, 24 Hours of Le Mans is a pretty big spectacle, so why not? Yeah, when is the 24 Hours of Le Mans starting, by the way? Do some of you guys know? Is it already started, or is it starting in an hour's time, or half an hour's time? How hard is it for the team to set up? It's already started, as it started 28 minutes ago. Oh, okay, right. Started when my stream started, I think. Yeah. How hard is it for a team to set up a tow for their driver? It's not difficult, but the problem is that all of the drivers, once you get through to Q3, your best run is at the end of Q3. So both of the drivers in your team want a tow at the end of Q3 at the last lap, and you can have a system where you alternate between tracks, but some tracks you want a tow, some tracks you don't want a tow. So this all has to be either predetermined at the start of the season, or you just have to then line up a tow with someone else on the circuit, and it ends up being easier just to line up a tow with someone else on the circuit rather than to have these things between your 2 teammates, saying that if you make it through, if we both make it through, then we'll alternate between who gets a tow. So yeah, and from the team's perspective as well, it's if they don't have their own teammates setting up each other with tows, they could have a situation where at the end of Q3 both drivers are with the tow, and it's just better for them that way. So yeah. Oh, and also let me just move my my webcam here so you guys can get a few more radio messages, and I'll just stick it over here. Okay. So we've got old tyres for a few drivers here, right? You've got Norris, Piastri out on old tyres. So is Behrman. So is Hulkenberg. So is the two Colapintos, the 2 Alpines, also out on used tyres. So is Sainz. So bit of a mixed bag here between fresh tyres and used tyres. Still, of course, got the opportunity for a second run as well. So it looks like the drivers that are out on used tyres are hoping to come through into Q3. So that's the Alpines. They're hoping to make it through. So is Hulkenberg. Yeah. Purple in the middle sector again for Hulkenberg. I mean, it's a 31.3. It's still 8 tenths off Russell's middle sector. Yeah, Gasly across the line, a 117.6 from him. Nice to start it out. Colapinto goes quarter of a second up, also on some used tyres, and takes that P1 away from his teammate. But Max Verstappen, purple in the first sector, purple in the second sector. Nico Hülkenberg across the line, half a second up. George Russell now coming across the line to start a flying lap. Same thing. Oh no, not Carlos Sainz is now coming across the line, fourth position for him. He is quite the ways back actually off the Alpines. Max Verstappen, a 115.4, very nicely done. That is I think that's marginally the quickest lap that we've seen since FP2. So that's good to see there from Max Verstappen, and we will probably see the 1 minute 14s potentially by the end of it. Nico Hülkenberg, lap time deleted, track limits at turn number 9. So Hülkenberg exceeded track limits there, and his lap time's been deleted, so he's going to have to go again. Hadjar across the line, 3/10 back from Max. Good improvement there from Hadjar. And Lindblad is again 3/10 ahead of Liam Lawson. It seems like Lindblad's got an edge over Lawson quite consistently now. Charles Leclerc ahead of both of the Red Bulls, 2/10 up for Charles Leclerc. We got Antonelli, who's 14 milliseconds behind. Again, very, very close. This was the same order it was. It was Leclerc, then Antonelli behind. Now let's see where George Russell and Lewis Hamilton find themselves. All right, we got Russell coming through turn number 13. Now 14, it's going to be foot flat to the floor. What is it for George Russell? It is P1. He goes ahead of Charles Leclerc, and now comes Lewis Hamilton. He makes his way through the final corner, shifts up into 8th gear, and it is P4 for Lewis actually. So previously in Q1 he was up ahead of Russell. Now he's moved down, but there's still pace there, there's still performance available. I think just one more lap and he should be able to get it in the bag. Piastri, bit of a terrible lap there from him. He's 9th position, slower than the Racing Bulls, but he is out on used tyres. So same thing can be said for Norris. They are down there in 8th and 10th, but used tyres for the both of them. Everyone else above them is out on fresh tyres. So take that into account and take that in mind. This is looking an awful lot like 2018, folks, with the 2 Mercs, the 2 Ferraris, and then Red Bull in 5th and 6th. Okay. So, yeah, everyone making their way back to the pit lane, and they'll do a quick refuel and make their way back out again. What's going on here with Lewis Hamilton? He's overtaken one of the Mercs on the way to on the in-lap. Overtaking George Russell there. Okie dokes. So that's the first runs completed. And as you can see, everyone that was out on a used set of tyres, with the exception of the McLaren, everyone out with the used set of tyres was at 8th position or below. So the used tyres definitely have a really bad effect on your lap time. And just a testament to how brutal this circuit is on the tyres. And what the conditions certainly aren't helping with 51 degrees track temp. Okay. Yeah, we're still quite a ways off last year's pole time, right? We're about 4 seconds slower, but that's always how it goes with these regulation changes. You make the cars slower with the regulations because, you sort of have to, really. In Q1, the gap between Lindblad and Lawson was 0.2 seconds, and now it's 0.3. Yeah, I mean, look, it's good competition between them, and Lindblad has been doing well in qualifying races. I think Lawson has got more points. I will just double check that, but I think Lawson's got more. And that will come with time, and I'm sure Lindblad will gather some more experience soon enough. Yeah, Lawson with 24 points to his name, and Arvin Lindblad with only 11. Okay, so 4 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock. We've got Everyone has set a lap. Hulkenberg also did, but he got a lap time deleted for exceeding track limits. We got Piastri out on a fresh set of soft tyres. So these are C4 softs from Pirelli. And Norris also coming out on a fresh set. 4 minutes left on the clock, so that's enough time for an outlap, and then they will go for a push lap. Why is everyone pitted? Because they are refueling the cars, putting on a fresh set of tyres, and then they'll go again. Will McLaren top in Q3? I don't know. It's hard to say. Their pace. Well, look, we'll get a representative lap time out of them now, with the fresh set of softs. Don't know what Norris is really talking about. Left-hand shoulder should be fine. I assume this is about traffic or something like that. Should be fine for turn 1 and turn 4. Yeah, something to do with the tyre. Left-hand shoulder is referring to a section on the tyre, and how it sort of deforms when you're going through right-hand corners. So, yeah, if I remember correctly at least. Tracked harvest index. Well, look, in terms of clipping, the drivers are only clipping in towards turn number 1. So that's the only major clipping zone on this circuit. Otherwise, you're getting a tiny bit of clipping into turn 10, but that's all. So I had a look through the data at the end of FP2, and those are the only clipping zones on the track. All right, Piastri looking pretty good here in the first sector, actually. A lot of green and a 22.06, so a tenth and a half back from Max Verstappen. That's about 4th or 5th fastest in sector number 1. And now he makes his way down the hill towards turn number 7 there. But the car looking nice and planted in the hands of Piastri. Of course, got pole position here last year, so I'm sure he'll have some good memories. Again, misses the apex ever so slightly at turn 7, but it doesn't matter, because it's all about the run up through turn number 9. Does he stay within track limits? Yes, he does. Nicely done by Piastri. And then in towards turn number 10. What is his middle sector looking like? Green. Again, 30.5 for the middle sector. So that's about, 2 tenths back from Antonelli, 1 tenth slower than his teammate. And now the final sector remains for Piastri. Hulkenberg gets out of the way, and Hulkenberg, look at that, he's now getting a toe off Oscar Piastri. So very nice placement there by the Audi team. Big props to them. And now as they go down the straight, Hulkenberg's going to get a little toe off the Australian. 6th position there for Oscar Piastri, splits the 2 Red Bulls, and Lando Norris has an incredible final sector actually, and finds himself up in 4th position, only 1 tenth back from George Russell. So the gaps up at the front getting extremely close, and Hulkenberg's been given a black and white flag for driving unnecessarily slowly. I'm sure he's not going to care, given that he's now got a toe down the start-finish straight, and his first sector's looking pretty quick. But yeah, he'll take that with both hands, to be honest. Okay, Bortoletto, Sainz, Gasly all starting their flying laps now. 43 seconds left on the clock. Lindblad and Lawson. Lindblad's first sector and second sector aren't really improving much. In fact, he's backed out of it, and I think that's his qualifying session over. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, maybe he'll be able to do one more lap. We'll see. But Lawson is now coming across the line. 10th position as of right now. He's got to make it through into Q3, so he's got to stay up in the top 10. 8th position for Liam Lawson. Nicely done there from him. And we'll see if it lasts. Here comes Nico Hulkenberg. He got his previous lap time deleted. Not this lap. It's 10th position for Nico Hulkenberg. Very much on the borderline of making it through. Let's see what the Alpines can do. Lindblad into the pits. That is qualifying over for him. That's unfortunately him knocked out of Q2. Behrman across the line, 12th position, so he cannot make it through into Q3. Bortoletto now coming across the line. Will he make it through? No, he will not. So now it's down just to the 2 Alpines. What can Colapinto and Gasly do? Here comes Pierre Gasly. It's only 13th position for him, and now we've got Franco Colapinto. He's in 6th gear as he comes through the final corner. A little lift off to 50% throttle, then back onto the power, and across the line, 13th position, Nico Hulkenberg has made it through into Q2, and so has Liam Lawson. Those are the two sort of midfield teams that have made it through into Q3, and the drivers eliminated are Arvin Lindblad, Gabriel Bortoletto, Franco Colapinto, Pierre Gasly, Behrman, and Carlos Sainz. Yeah. All right, folks. So that's been Q2, and Q3 will be getting underway momentarily. I shall pop a timer up on the screen for that. All right. Gazzy over the radio says, that felt very bad. I mean, it is a bit unfortunate, really, and you can't always get really good laps in. But yeah, he got out-qualified by his teammate today, which is not a sight that you see every single time. Last year, Gasly's track record against Colapinto was pretty good. It's not always going to last forever, though. And Behrman in P15 out-qualifying Esteban Ocon. Hulkenberg really has been cooking. He really has been cooking. German driver, German car. Let's see what he can do. Maybe 2027, Nico Hulkenberg world champion. Let's see. Audi, of course, have got their own power unit as well. So if they could find some more performance like Mercedes, then who knows where they find themselves. How long till Aston Martin will be in Q3? I think Aston Martin are much more quickly going to find themselves in Formula 2 rather than in Q3, to be honest. So, yeah, don't think that I've got a timeline on that one. Most likely, I suspect it will be, I don't know, next year. Okay, so Q3 will get underway in about 4 minutes' time. So I'm going to put a poll out. Let's see. Do you guys think that we have the Ferraris on pole, the Mercs, or the McLarens, or the Red Bulls? McLaren or Red Bull? Right, there you go. You guys can vote in the poll. Let's see what you guys are thinking. But Mercedes look really good. However, Ferrari are not that far back. Charles Leclerc only half a tenth back on George Russell's best time, and Hamilton previously at the end of Q1 was also quicker than George Russell. So it could be a turnaround. Right? They brought 8 upgrade packages, or not upgrade packages, but 8 upgrades in their upgrade package this race, and it seems like they've worked out. Seems like they are getting a whole lot closer, and everyone is a Ferrari fan. Even if you say you're not a Ferrari fan, everyone is, and it'd be nice to see someone win, someone different win. I'm sure Kimi could also pull something out of the bag. Like, you don't have the talent and the skill to go 5 wins back to back without being able to pull out a good quali lap when it's needed. So, add the volume down. What are we voting for? We're voting for pole position. Who do you reckon? Which team is getting pole position? We've got 42% on Mercedes, 34% on Ferrari, 7% on McLaren, and 16% on Red Bull. Yeah, I mean, going by the track record this season, Mercedes doesn't seem like a bad choice, does it? Oh yeah, Colapinto on this replay, losing a bit of the rear end as he makes his way through turns number 10, which is, pretty tricky, but I guess we'll see. MCG F1 Gamer, can I hijack your channel for a minute? Don't know exactly what you're talking about. But sure, go and drop your message, whatever you want to ask. All of the fans of Le Mans after this stream join. Oh, okay. Is this someone else's channel or something? Oh, this is the okay, this is the data for the Le Mans stream. Yeah, I'll probably post that or something. Yeah. Cool. I mean, the 24 hours of Le Mans is going to be a very long stream to commentate. Unfortunately, I don't think I've got the capabilities to be doing that. Yeah. Will I stream Le Mans? Unfortunately not. Unfortunately not. I could maybe get access to the data. I'm not 100% certain, but yeah, it's right now not top of the priority list. Yeah. All right, 43 seconds left till Q3. Here we go then, folks. Who's going to put it together at the end of quali? 13 minutes of Q3. Track temperature down to 49 degrees Celsius from 51. Not the biggest swing that we've seen. Ferrari eat more pasta, so you drive faster. We've got some great fans out here in Barcelona today, and the green light is open at the end of the pit lane, and the pit lane is looking right empty right now. No drivers are leaving just yet. We will have 2 runs from each of the drivers. Hopefully, no lap times getting deleted. Oh, totally crashing that party supports more streamers, folks. That's how we got here. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of people helping out the channel here, so why not, for sure. Okay. The teams all of the drivers get an extra set of soft tires as they make their way through into Q3. So everyone should have enough to do 2 runs on 2 set of fresh softs. But yeah, let's just wait and see. Really, don't know why it's taking so long for the drivers. But they've all got their tire warmers off the cars now, and they're getting ready to leave the pits. Okie dokes, Norris is on his way out, and then there's Verstappen, and yeah, we've got a whole bunch of cars leaving now. And which tyres is it for everyone then? It looks like fresh sets of softs for Leclerc, Norris, Piastri. Lawson is out on used soft tyres by the looks of it. Yeah, and the rest of the drivers still in the pits as of now. Also, folks, just a quick reminder, if you guys do want to watch the Formula 1 coverage, actually see the cars go around on track, what you can do is get Proton VPN. There's a link in the description for that. And you can join an Austrian VPN server, and once you do that, you go onto Google, you search ORF Formula 1, and then you can watch the coverage there for free. The only thing you got to pay for is the VPN to connect to Austria. So that's the best way to do it. If you guys are interested, we've got over, I'm sure now it's probably upwards of 1,000 people doing it this way to watch the coverage. So would recommend if you guys are interested. The commentary is in German, so you do have to listen to me talk about it, but you were probably going to do that anyway, and this way you can see the cars go around the track. Hey F1 Gamer, are you an engineer? Well, I did finish my mechanical engineering degree like last week or this week, so yeah, I guess I am. Still yet to get the certificate though. Okie dokes, everyone out onto the circuit, everyone with fresh soft tyres, with the exception of Lawson and Hulkenberg. So yeah, just those 2 guys with old soft tyres, everyone else with fresh soft tyres. And let's go qualifying, folks. Thank you to everyone in the chat that's saying congratulations, much appreciated. Yeah, it's took a while to get the degree in the end, but and a lot of past papers and practice and stuff. But yeah, glad that I did it. All right, first sector looking extremely rapid there from Oscar Piastri, a 21.9 from him, and that is second fastest that we've seen all weekend long. Then we've got Max Verstappen, that is purple in the middle sector, but it's still 2/10 slower than the Mercs. So it's the purple in Q3, but not purple overall. And Lando Norris goes second fastest. Oh, yellow flag, Charles Leclerc. Oh no. Turn number 4, there's grass on the exit. If you touch the grass, it's game over. And there's a yellow flag there right now. Hadjar slows down, Hamilton slows down, Leclerc's off the track. And we've got Piastri currently top of the times. Red flag, Charles Leclerc's binned it. Oh no. We haven't got the replay just yet, but I suspect he's hit the grass exactly where I think he's hit the grass. He's already out of the car, and I'll quickly show you. Right, where's turn number 4? Let me just fast forward. So turn number 4 is up through here, and oh yeah, he's done exactly that. Right, so for turn number 4, you are braking. You're braking just under the Pirelli bridge sign here, right? And you hit the brakes in towards the corner, 4th gear, you get onto the power, and you just see here on the exit, you've got just grass there. You can see just grass, and you've got no safety margin whatsoever. So here he is going in towards turn number 4, carrying a lot of speed, gets onto the power, the rear of the car snaps out over the grass, and there he goes into the barrier. So at this point here, the rear of the car is sliding out, and he's counter steering, and then the car snaps into the barrier there on the left hand side. So big crash there for Charles Leclerc. It is so totally over. I mean, where's the meme gone? It is yeah, it's over. Oh god. Ferrari have a competitive car potentially going on for pole position, and Charles Leclerc's just binned it. No, he didn't touch the grass. He snapped. He corrected his oversteer, but then because he had run out of room, he then touched the grass and then went off. So it wasn't him just running wide by default, but it was a snap of oversteer that caused him to go onto the grass. And in which case, if there was runoff area, he probably would have been fine. But yeah, there was grass there, and then into the barriers he went. Game's gone. Leave the. Yeah, I mean, you just can't make this stuff up, can you? You just cannot make this stuff up. And Lewis was purple in the first sector as well. He was 20 milliseconds down on Verstappen's time there. So Ferrari's got pace as well. Stop pulling that meme out, by the way. Oh, the Ferrari, is it now a curse? Every time that I bring it up to say that Ferrari doing well, it just suddenly it all turns into terribleness. All right. Don't know what's taking them so long to pick it up, but Goo, thanks for the donation. He was not lying about the brakes. Well, it wasn't really the brakes. It was as he got onto the power. That was the problem for him. So he was on the power, and the rear of the car snapped, oversteer, off into the grass, and then no grip, and then into the barrier. So potential man, yeah. I mean, it is a tough one, isn't it? Everyone says Leclerc's got potential, and he clearly is very talented driver, but if you want to be a world champion, you don't become a world champion by having that one special quali lap when it matters. You become a world champion by your bad days still being on the podium and still being in second position. That's the consistency you need, right? Especially as Formula One seasons get longer and longer, right? 24 races in the season. The consistency is yet arguably a more important skill than that magic one lap that you can do to beat your rivals. And that seems to be the thing that Charles Leclerc so often lacks. Where do I sign up for the $1 VPN? The link's in the description, folks, for Proton VPN. It should be a $1 per month offer. And then you can watch the coverage, yeah. Bro's competing with himself at that point. Yeah, I mean, it is also a thing when you are at the top, like elite level, top 0.01% of racing drivers in the world. It's much more of a mental battle than it is, a physical. Can you turn the steering wheel, the right amount? It's not getting in your own head and things like that, which are very often the deciding factors. Why is the red flag? The red flag is because Charles Leclerc crashed on the exit at turn number 4. Yeah. It'll probably be another 2 or 3 minutes till the restart of the session. Yeah. Piastri was incredibly consistent last season, and it wasn't enough. You have to be consistent. Your car has to be consistent. Your team has to be consistent, and you have to have the blessing of the officials. Well, Piastri was consistent for, I would say, the first 2/3 of the season, and then the final 1/3 of the season, the consistency had dropped off last year. So yeah, I've no doubt in saying that there were definitely some occasions where the team wasn't delivering for him, or the penalty situation wasn't ideal. But I also think that from Piastri's side, it wasn't perfect either. So Charles is P10. Yeah, Charles will be P10. Everyone else will set their lap times, I presume. As long as no one else crashes, Charles Leclerc will be P10. Is it a recoverable crash for Leclerc? Can he continue? No. He's out for the session. The car will not be delivered back to the garage by the time that the session restarts. So that's Charles Leclerc out, and he'll be starting P10. There is definitely loads of overtaking opportunities here in Spain, so I wouldn't be too concerned about it. He can probably find himself up back in the top 5 if he has a good run tomorrow. But yeah, today it's going to be P10, qualifying 10th position. Clearly, when he was in the unbalanced stage and tried to collect it with throttle, he should have used the brake. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to try and say here what Charles Leclerc should have done and press more of the brake or turn the steering wheel less. But yeah, he ended up making a mistake, and it cost him the quali. All right, session restarting in 4 minutes time. We've just got the message from race. Actually, not 4 minutes, 3 minutes time. Session is restarting, so we'll be underway very, very shortly. In fact, I'll just pop a timer up on the screen for the session restart. All right, yeah, there you go. Restart in 4 minutes and 14 seconds. Do you think this would lead to a pit lane start? No, pit lane start would send him right to the back of the grid, so he'll still use, and it also has an impact on the front of the car, not the rear, so it's unlikely that any of the engine components of the gearbox or anything like that will be damaged. So yeah, he's more than fine. Oh, also, no, I've got the restart timer on it's 1 minute less, actually, so it's 2 minutes and 46 seconds till the restart. Do they have enough spare parts, or will they have to revert to the previous spec? No, they will have enough spare parts because the upgrades were to the rear of the car, so I don't think there is a front wing change as of what I remember. So they'll just be able to use any old front wing and it'll still be okay. Also, Hamilton hasn't crashed this weekend, and this is the first crash for Leclerc, so they always do typically bring one spare set of parts. If both Leclerc and Hamilton had crashed, they would have not had enough spare parts, but even if Leclerc damaged the diffuser, he still should be fine, because they'll always bring one spare set. No, Norris's middle sector wasn't the fastest overall. It was still slower than Antonelli. Yeah, so still some more improvement left to go. I mean, I can just behind the countdown timer here. You guys can see the quickest middle sector, and you can see Antonelli there went 1 millisecond quicker than Norris in Q2. Matt is in the gutter. Oh yeah, I'm surprised. I'm sure he is actually. Yeah, suboptimal. So if Lewis crashes now, who's entitled to the parts? That'll be a decision for Ferrari to take. Yeah, that's not down to me, and it's not been written anywhere in like any contract or anything like that. Like, or maybe it has been written in some contract. I'm not sure, but yeah, that would typically be a decision for the team principal, just to say that, you get the spare parts or you don't get the spare parts. Or they just say, both of you have crashed. We're not going to, you guys can both just use the old parts and we'll save the spare parts for next week. Okie dokes. Yeah. Does Piastri have a chance to get pole? Potentially, yeah. I mean, let's see what Hamilton can do, right? Let's see what Hamilton can do. I'll get rid of this countdown timer because, well, we're about to get underway. Pace was looking strong, though, for Hamilton in the first sector. He was, 22 milliseconds back on Verstappen's quickest first sector time. So that's pretty solid there from him. And we've got the green light at the end of the pit lane and exit open. Kimi Antonelli, first one out onto the track. I think, are they going to try and do 2 runs here? I think Antonelli is definitely going to try and do 2 runs. So's Hadjar, so's Russell. So, yeah, with 8 minutes, it's going to be tight to get 2 runs in, but they're going to go for it. All right, it is hammer time for Lewis Hamilton. Let's see how he does now. Oh yeah, who's out on which tire? So it's fresh sets of soft. Oh, Hamilton's out on used softs actually. So we've got Antonelli also out on used softs. Hadjar's out on used softs. Okay, so these are the soft tires that they were using during the aborted lap. The lap that happened during the red flag. They are using those ones still. So yes, they've definitely got 2 runs to do, because otherwise, if they were only going to do 1 run, they would have put on a fresh set of softs. So there you go. 4 drivers out doing 2 runs, and the rest of them are going to just wait around and just do 1 run. Fantastic. All right. Let's go qualifying, folks. Here comes Kimi Antonelli then, down the start-finish straight. Really good final sector. Speed's approaching 337. He starts clipping a little bit as he heads in towards turn number 1. Super deep on the brakes goes Kimi Antonelli and hits both of those apexes very nicely. And now makes his way through turn number 3, drifting out wide to the left-hand side. And now straight lining the braking zone of turn 4, looking to not do what Charles Leclerc did, and gets on the throttle super smoothly. Close to the exit curb there, but in towards turn number 5 now. Slowest corner on the racetrack. Drifts wide of the apex, but good enough exit, so it's not a problem there. Black and white flag for George Russell for driving unnecessarily slowly. That's him just trying to cool down his tyres to make sure they don't overheat over the course of the flying lap. Then through turn number 9 you go for Kimi Antonelli. Stays within track limits, and the DRS flap is opening towards turn number 10, and he is 14 milliseconds down on Piastri's time of a 1:15.1. That was a mega lap, by the way. I think I sort of stopped acknowledging what happened just after Leclerc crashed, but that lap from Piastri was incredible. Quickest lap that we've had all weekend long. And here comes Antonelli out the final corner. Can he beat the time? No, he cannot. He loses a huge amount of time in the final sector, and he is down to 2.5 tenths. George Russell, however, purple in the middle sector, quickest out of anyone all weekend long in the middle sector, but the rears are really struggling now as he comes through the final 2 corners. Turn 13, he holds it together. Turn 14, a little lift, and then his foot is right back onto the power, and it is P1 by 31 milliseconds for George Russell. The very, very close margins there for him. And now we've got Lewis Hamilton out of the final corner. What's it going to be for Hamilton? A 1:15.7. And yeah. Oh, what happened there? What happened there? He was half a second down, 4 tenths down on his first sector time from before. Oh, Hamilton's out on used tyres. Okay. 5 lap old tyres for Lewis Hamilton. So take that all with a pinch of salt. Yeah. But he needs to put on some new softs and go again. And he needs to drive back pretty quick to the pits as well, because there's not a huge amount of time left on the clock. He's got to go back in, put some more fuel in the car, put some fresh tyres, and go racing. Well, go qualifying. We'll get the remaining drivers coming out onto the circuit soon enough now, because there's obviously just not too much time left. And Russell's being asked. Russell doesn't want any adjustment to his front wing angle. I think he's pretty pleased with where the car is right now. He's getting dangerously close to the 1:14. So let's see if that can be achieved. Track temperature still at 49 degrees Celsius. It is toasty as ever in Barcelona, and the temperature's not falling one bit. Whereas Max is sat in the pit lane. He didn't need to go out to do another lap, I don't think. So he's just gonna put on a fresh set of softs and go again with probably, in a minute and 30 seconds, something along those lines. Quick reminder to plug the VPN. Oh yeah, folks, if you guys do want to watch the coverage, want to watch the final 10 minutes final 3 minutes of Q3 and the race tomorrow as well, you can get Proton VPN for $1 a month. You can connect to an Austrian VPN server and then watch the coverage using ORF. It's the cheapest way to watch Formula 1 in a mildly legit way, I guess. But yeah, it helps the channel out, given that Proton VPN sponsor me, and would be much appreciated. So there we go, Antonelli out onto the circuit, so's Russell, so's Norris, so's Hulkenberg. Fresh tyres for all of them. Everyone's out on fresh tyres, everyone's out on the minimum amount of fuel possible, and, well, let's go racing, folks. So, of course, you do have to be careful here with exceeding track limits. Turn number 9 is where we've seen most of the track limit deletions. If you go a little bit wide there, past the white line, your lap time's deleted, and you'll be qualifying in... well, I don't know if you'll be 10th or if you'll be 9th, because Charles Leclerc... you'll probably be 9th, actually, ahead of Charles Leclerc, because Leclerc still hasn't set a time. So, but yeah, you don't want to get your lap time deleted. So they've also got to be a bit careful about that one. And that is Hamilton, by the way, coming out of the pits last out of everyone. So Hamilton, in theory, has got the best possible track conditions by being last coming out of the pits and last to do his lap. But here comes Kimi Antonelli, right? Current World Championship leader. He comes out of the final corner. He has got 5 wins under his belt, back-to-back. 3 pole positions, back-to-back as well. the only drivers that have got their first 3 pole positions in succession: Kimi Antonelli, Michael Schumacher, Ayrton Senna. Some pretty good company there for Antonelli. Let's see if he can continue on his success at the streets of Barcelona. His first sector time is half a tenth up on George Russell. Still not the quickest that we have seen all weekend long. He now makes his way through turn number 5. And George Russell goes purple in sector 1, ever so slightly quicker than Verstappen. And when I say ever so slightly, it's literally 2 milliseconds. The margins are so close in Formula 1 today. And Antonelli stays within track limits of turn number 9. It's dangerously close, but he's there on the ragged edge of grip, and his middle sector is purple. It's the quickest we've seen. It's a full tenth faster than Russell's previous lap. But what's Russell going to do about it? Here comes George Russell. It's purple in sector number 2 for Mr. Saturday. Has he got his group mojo back? Will he be able to find himself up at the top of the grid? Here comes Antonelli across the line. P1 by 1.5 tenths, provisional pole position, and the first driver into the 1 minute 14s. How long will that last? His teammate George Russell out of the final corner, incredible exit, and he goes 3 tenths faster. Ladies and gentlemen, George Russell is back. But hold up, what do I see? Max Verstappen, purple in sector 1. It might not be a Mercedes day just yet. And in the middle sector, it's looking good for Verstappen. Verstappen's second fastest in the middle sector. He's just got 4 corners left to go. 12, 13, and 14. Can he put it together? Lawson across the line, 8th position for him. Piastri comes across the line. It's still 4th for him. And Hamilton's gone purple in the middle sector. Here comes Verstappen, currently 5th position. It's 4th. The final sector was terrible. Absolutely horrific. And 4th position for Max Verstappen. And here comes Lewis Hamilton. Will it be hammer time? Charles Leclerc was looking really good. Can his teammate find himself up on the front row? Lewis Hamilton, it is P2 for Lewis, incredible lap, and it's 2nd position for the Ferrari driver. George Russell P1, Hamilton P2, and Kimi Antonelli in P3. Max Verstappen threw it all away in the final sector. He was 3 tenths slower than Russell's final sector, and that 3 tenths would have put him up in 2nd position. But Hamilton has saved the day for Ferrari, has salvaged the day by finding himself up on the front row. George Russell has found his groove once again. He was looking very good in all of the practice sessions, and it's a pole position to his name. And, well, the Ferraris are competitive, ladies and gentlemen. The Ferraris are competitive, and that means the race tomorrow is going to be all the more exciting. Well, we've got 2 Mercs versus 1 Ferrari. Where have I seen this one before? All right. Incredible qualifying session. The gap's up at the front, half a tenth between 1st and 2nd position, and great drives. And Toto Wolff will be saying a Mercedes 1, 2, 3. Some pretty nice drivers the Mercedes Academy has produced. Okay, so we're going to have a brilliant race tomorrow. The race will be starting in whatever time it is for you in the world right now. If you go back 2 hours and 15 minutes. That's when the race will be starting tomorrow. So I hope to see you all there. I'll be live. I'll have all the data, all the numbers, and all of the team radios. So it's been a pleasure commentating to you guys. I will, I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Really, that's should be a great race, and can't wait, to be honest. Cannot wait whatsoever. So yeah, there is, if you guys do want to watch the 24 hours of Le Mans, I'm just going to pin the message to one of the to one of the other fellow YouTube streamers that are streaming the 24 hours of Le Mans. So go ahead and check that one out, and my stream will end and it'll take you over to the race stream for tomorrow. So be sure to hit the like button for the race stream. That would be mega as well. But go ahead and check out the 24 hours of Le Mans, and that should be good. So it's been a pleasure commentating to you guys. Have a wonderful morning, day, afternoon, evening, or night, depending on where you are around the world. And we're going to have Lewis Hamilton potentially fighting for a win tomorrow. All right. Yeah. So cheers, folks. And I shall see you all in 22 hours' time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.